All right, guys, we are going to be talking about motivation and emotion today, starting with our first video, the psychology of motivation. So let's talk about this. A motive is simply a stimulus that moves a person to behave in ways designed to accomplish a specific goal. Motives are considered theoretical states because they cannot be seen or measured directly. And psychologists assume that people and other organisms are motivated when they observe the people trying to reach their goals. So the psychology of motivation deals with the whys of behavior. Why are we doing these things? When psychologists speak of motives, they also speak of needs, and a need is simply a condition in which we require something that we lack. And people have both biological and psychological needs. People fulfill biological needs to survive. An example of biological needs include the need for oxygen and for food. Some biological needs, like for food or sleep, occur in part because of physical deprivation, meaning that people feel hungry or sleepy when they have not eaten or slept. But achievement, self-esteem, and a sense of belonging are examples of psychological needs. And they also motivate people to reach certain goals. Biological needs and psychological needs give rise to drives, and drives are the forces that motivate an organism to take action. The biological need for food gives rise to the hunger drive, for example. Behavior patterns that are genetically transmitted from generation to generation are known as instincts. Sometimes they're called fixed action patterns. Researchers have discovered that many animals are born to act in certain ways in certain situations. At one time, psychologists believed that human behavior, like that of animals, is instinctive. But today, most psychologists do not believe that human behavior is primarily motivated by instinct. But that's not to say that we're not influenced by instinct. If a behavior pattern is instinctive, they argue, it must be found throughout a species. But there's so much variation in the way that people behave that much of human behavior is unlikely to be instinctive. The drive reduction theory is based on learning as well as motivation, and according to this theory, people and animals experience a drive arising from a need as an unpleasant tension. And they learn to do whatever will reduce that tension by reducing the drive. So if you're hungry, then you have a hunger drive and you're going to eat to reduce that tension. Some drives are caused by biological needs, others are inborn, and some are learned from experience. Like, for example, the drive for money. That's something that we've learned from experience. And the tendency to maintain this state of equilibrium that we're striving for is called homeostasis. And homeostasis works like a thermostat. We're always trying to get to a certain temperature. The humanistic theory argues that instinct theory and drive reduction theory say that human behavior is mechanical and directed only towards surviving and reducing tension. Humanistic psychologists say that people are motivated by conscious desires for personal growth and artistic fulfillment. And they say sometimes our drive to fulfill needs like that outweighs our drive to meet more basic needs. Abraham Maslow was one of the pioneers of humanistic psychology. And he pointed out that some people are willing to tolerate pain, hunger, and other kinds of tension to achieve their artistic or political goals. And the humanistic theory would suggest that somebody's desire to achieve political or artistic fulfillment was sacrificing other desirable activities was worthwhile for them. Maslow also claimed that people strive to fulfill their capacity for self-actualization, and that is actually the need to become what one believes he or she is capable of being. So it's like the fulfillment of your potential. Whatever you are capable of being, that's what self-actualization is. And then the sociocultural theory. This theory argues that even if basic drives like hunger are inborn, cultural experiences and factors influence the behavior that people use to satisfy those drives. So, like the foods that people eat and the way we eat those foods are shaped by our culture. Cultural experience affects whether people prefer hot dogs or tacos, coffee or tea, apples or pineapples. Cultural experience also affects whether people prefer kissing lips or rubbing noses to express feelings of affection, etc., etc. And this is a picture of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we're going to be doing some activities with this. But that's it for this video. Thanks, guys.